Welcome to The Explainer. In this first part of our new series, we're diving deep into the world of school safeguarding, following a leader as she faces a sudden, high-stakes crisis. We're going to unpack her decisions through the lens of some classic motivational theories and see just how easily even the best leaders can get it wrong when the pressure is really on.
And it all kicks off with this single, intense directive from the top. We meet Janita, a really respected safeguarding leader who is about to face the ultimate professional test. And her CEO has made it crystal clear. Failure is just not an option.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the setup, seeing a confident leader at the top of her game. Then, we'll watch as a crisis erupts. We'll see how her team reacts, we'll diagnose her critical missteps using motivational theory, and finally, we'll witness the immediate and pretty damaging fallout.
All right, so let's set this scene. Meet our leader, Janita. She's the safeguarding lead for a trust of 8 different schools, and she has built up a fantastic reputation for being collaborative, for being effective. By all accounts, she is thriving.
Yeah, she's feeling really confident. It's been 8 months, and she's gotten really good at navigating the tricky politics of the school trust. She's even created this great network of 12 designated safeguarding leads. You'll hear us call them DSLs, and they meet up every month for peer support. She is absolutely in her stride.
But then, on what seems like a totally normal Tuesday morning, one phone call comes in, and it changes absolutely everything. And the crisis just unfolds with breathtaking speed. It starts with an urgent call from her CEO at 7:43 in the morning. That leads to a super tense meeting at one of her schools, and by 2 p.m. that same day, she's pulled her entire team into an emergency meeting.
And the situation is, well, it's a nightmare. The police reveal that a county lines drug operation has infiltrated Woodlands Academy. Now, that's a sophisticated criminal network where gangs exploit kids to sell drugs. 7 students are already identified as being involved. The network has been running right under their noses for at least 6 months, and here's the kicker. The students involved don't fit any of the typical at-risk profiles.
So the CEO's directive is blunt. Janita has to coordinate the entire response for all 8 schools. The head teacher at Woodlands, a woman named Helen, is already in full-on damage control mode. But Janita, she's now responsible for the whole safeguarding front line. Her professional credibility is completely on the line.
So when Janita gets to Woodlands, she walks straight into a political minefield. The head teacher, Helen, is obsessed with one thing, protecting the school's reputation. But the pastoral lead, Amara, is furious. She tells Janita she warned them months ago that they needed specialist training on this exact kind of threat, and she was completely ignored.
And then she meets Dev Patel, the school's lead DSL, and he is just shattered. I mean, this quote says it all. His professional confidence, built over 6 years on the job, has been absolutely destroyed by this. He feels like a complete and utter failure.
Okay, so Janita knows this is serious. She quickly gets all 12 of her DSLs together for an emergency virtual meeting. She's got to get a handle on this crisis, but the team's reaction is not at all what she was expecting.
Right. She's not met with a unified front ready for action. Instead, she's hit with this tidal wave of fear and anxiety. Experienced DSLs like Lisa and Sam are immediately speaking up for the group, saying they're completely overwhelmed, asking how on earth they're supposed to handle this on top of their already massive workloads.
And this right here, this is the turning point. Feeling that immense pressure from her CEO, Janita's collaborative style just vanishes. Her voice gets hard, she lays down the law, a mandatory top-down review of hundreds of students, and she gives them an impossible deadline, 5 days. She gets them to agree, but what she really gets is a team that feels resentful, stressed out, and completely unheard.
So what went so wrong here? In the blink of an eye, Janita went from a collaborator to a commander. To really understand the damage this did, let's break down her leadership failure using 4 key motivational theories.
First up, we've got McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y. It's really all about a leader's core beliefs about their people. Do you think your team is lazy and needs to be controlled? That's Theory X. Or do you believe they're self-motivated and just need your support? That's Theory Y. When this crisis hit, Janita defaulted straight to Theory X. She assumed she had to force her team into action.
And this just lays out the 2 paths so clearly. Instead of asking, how can we tackle this together, she just gave orders. Her Theory X approach got her surface-level obedience, sure, but it completely killed any chance of getting genuine commitment or any creative problem-solving from the actual experts on her team.
Next, let's look at this through the lens of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You've probably seen this pyramid before, right? Well, Janita's critical error was treating her entire team like they were all the same. She assumed every single one of them was stuck on the bottom level, motivated only by a need for safety and security.
But they weren't. Her team was all over the map. Dev, for example, was having a crisis of professional esteem. Lisa, a seasoned pro, was focused on the team's ability to cope together, a belongingness need. And the newer DSLs, like Sam, they were stuck on basic safety, terrified they didn't even have the skills for this. A one-size-fits-all approach was just doomed from the start.
Her leadership also completely failed Hertzberg's two-factor test. Think of it like this. Hertzberg said there are hygiene factors at work that just prevent you from being unhappy, like clear rules and deadlines. Janita provided those. But then there are the motivators, the things that actually make you want to excel, like feeling a sense of achievement, getting recognized for your work, and having real responsibility. She accidentally stripped all of those away. She focused on the brakes and took out the engine.
And finally, Alderfer's ERG theory perfectly explains what happened to Dev. It talks about a frustration regression principle. Basically, when someone is blocked from meeting a higher level need, they'll slide back down to a more basic one. Janita crushed Dev's gross need, his whole sense of being good at his job. That made him regress to a more basic relatedness need. He just needed support from his leader and his team. But her command and control style offered him none.
And look, these weren't just theoretical mistakes. The consequences were real, they were immediate, and they were severe.
Later that same afternoon, Janita gets this absolutely gut-wrenching message from Dev. He is at his breaking point. It's all the proof she needs that her demands have pushed him right over the edge.
And then, the final blow. An anonymous email lands in her inbox, and it reveals the devastating truth. Her entire safeguarding network, that support system she worked so hard to build, is completely fragmenting. Her people are scared. They feel like they're being set up to fail, and some are even talking about quitting their roles altogether.
So Janita was tasked with managing a safeguarding crisis, but what she actually did was create a leadership crisis. Her team, her experts, are now demoralized and on the verge of collapse. And that leaves us with a really chilling question. If the people meant to protect the students are broken, who is left to do it? We'll find out how Janita tries to fix this mess in our next explainer.